Hello, I'm Frank Hanaway, and welcome to Big Journey, Small Steps. Well, I got a story for you. We have a neighbor, a lovely neighbor. She is exactly the same age as my mother, just a couple of months apart, and we do things for each other from time to time. I know I can depend on her, and I hope she knows she can depend on me. And she was going out of town to Georgia with her daughter and to visit her brother. And she asked me if I would feed her cat, which I have done several times in the past, and it wasn't a problem. Mom used to do it years ago, and then I've taken over doing that when she goes out of town. So Friday mornings, very planned, very organized. It's when I get to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't watch it when it comes on, so I can sleep at night. So I got everything done. I watched TV, had breakfast with mom. I'm all ready. We have a gig every Friday morning. We go to play at a center for mentally handicapped citizens. And these are people who are over the age of 18 who have disabilities like Down syndrome or cerebral palsy or um, some other ailment that diminishes brain function. So that's Sita drinking water. If I wait until she makes absolutely no noise, no video. Anyway, it just adds to everything. So we go to this, it's less than a mile from our house, and we go there every Friday morning at 9:30 and play a sing-along. I lead the singing for the most part, and my mother plays the piano. And we leave here 20 minutes after 9. And at 9:15, I took some cat food and went over to feed the cat. And the cat was food is on a little screened-in porch with the door cracked open around the back of the house. And I went back there, and as I came around, I saw the cat laying on the floor, and I thought, oh, that's sweet. Smokey's waiting for me. And then I came around the corner and looked, and I just knew instantly that Smokey was dead. Um, there's just something, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Well, certainly you've seen something that was dead, but I mean, after you get some sort of sixth sense about it. And sure enough, Smokey was dead, and I don't know what happened. Anyway, he was intact, but he was just stretched out there. So we're still on the way to the gig. By this time, my mother is in the car waiting for me. I've headed back over, didn't feed the dead cat, and and I went back and got in the car, and it's time to go, but I need to try and get in touch with her daughter. I thought she has two daughters. I knew she went with one, and I thought the other one stayed here. And I called the one I thought stayed here, but it was the one that went with her to tell her that the cat had passed, and I didn't get her. And then she called me back, and all this is going on um, before we're trying to get 2 or 3 minutes away. And my mother's freaking because of the time. And they're really on a loose schedule. Nobody's going to die. But to my mother, I mean, we are always very punctual, but there are times when being 5 minutes late for most people would be okay. I can't get my mother to understand what's going on. All she can think about is 9:30. And she can't think about anything else. When we get to the center, oh, and I told them on the phone that I would bury the cat because I couldn't see, they won't come back for 4 days. And they said, oh, we hate for you to do that, but I don't know what else because, it's 4 days. Now, I don't say much about this, but I have spinal stenosis and I can't dig a hole. So I could dig a spadeful and then go lie down for 4 days. But anyway, so I know I can't bury the cat, but I've got this dead cat. And we're on the way to the job. We're not late, but we're really close to on time. And when we get there, there are no parking spaces at the center. And they've been having, it's in a kind of a low live oak grove, and it's a little bit low, and with all the rain lately, they got so, the tropical storm, they got so flooded out in certain parts you can't park there. So I had to let my mother out and get her in the center where I knew they'd take care of her. And I go back and park the car down the street and then walk in the heat to the place with tambourines and singing books and all this stuff. And we go in and do our job. Well, I think I'm going in to do my job. But when I get in there, my mother's already started without me, with no books, just playing. Anyway, we played there for 45 minutes and then came back home. And fortunately, I had asked the sitter to come over and stay with Mom, and my plan was to go off and go shopping. But the sitter said, I will bury the cat, but I can't look at the cat. I mean, she kept saying, I'll bury the cat. I think that I won't look at the cat came a little later. Because then I remember at some point she said, you can cover it up with something, right? And she kept talking about covering the cat, and I kept thinking, okay, it doesn't matter too much. But the idea was she didn't want to see the cat. Well, I got it. So she starts digging the hole. I go to get the cat. I take this other shovel, a flat shovel, to get the cat, but the cat's way too big. And so I had to put the cat on a piece of carpet, and I'm starting to take the cat over. About halfway over, I realized the cat weighs enough that it's putting some significant strain on my back. Anyway, but I finally get the cat to her. I get her to go hide around the corner, and I put the cat in the hole and cover it with plastic. And the first spadeful of dirt knocks the plastic off the cat. The cat's head comes uncovered, and she screams and drops the shovel. Anyway, we got the cat buried. And then we're talking about putting a plant on top of the, I can't even describe, I mean, it's so much weirder than it even sounds. So we put, I had a big old pot full of soil that I hadn't planted anything in a while, so Spanish daisies, weeds had grown. We dragged that and put it on top of the cat. And then Janet tried to make it look nice, but it was weeds. And by that time I look up and I see my mother headed across the yard to our neighbor's house. I've got sweat running down my face, and all my sunscreen is starting to get in my eyes. I run and get my mother, and I get her back in the house. And I'm trying to get everything out of my eyes. And by the time Janet got in, Janet says, go shopping. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. And all that was by 11 o'clock yesterday morning. I actually did get off and go shopping. I just needed about 2 minutes to refresh myself. So the kicker on all of it is every day my mom and I watch 15 minutes of a video from a video series from the Blue Mountain Center of Meditation. And to that day we started a new one, and when I put it in and the title came up, it was called Charles the Cat. So anyway, I have to add, I know the video is getting long, but I have to add this joke, and it's especially from Margaret Griffin. And it's a joke about a cat. There were two brothers, Link and Gabe. And Gabe went to Europe for 3 months. And while he was gone, he gave Link custody of his cat and said, please take care of my cat. When Gabe came back from Europe, he went to see his brother at his brother's house, and he came to get the cat. And when he got there, his brother said, Gabe, I'm sorry, but he said, your cat's dead. Gabe said, what? Link said, I'm sorry, your cat's dead. Gabe said, you just blurt this out. I just walked in. I haven't seen you in 3 months. What's up? You couldn't soften the blow? And his brother said, well, what do you mean? I don't really, what would I have said differently? The cat died. That's it. Gabe thought for a moment. He said, you could have said, the cat got up in the top of the tree. And we couldn't get him down. And he said, you could have said, then he jumped on the roof. And we called the fire department. They came over. When they got the ladder up there, the cat jumped off the roof. And that's when we lost him. Link said, I guess you're right. I'm really sorry. And Gabe said, it's okay. Thank you for taking care of my cat. And he said, by the way, how's our mom? Link said, well, Mom climbed up in the top of a tree, and then she jumped on the roof. Thank you for sharing my crazy life with me. I appreciate it. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you peace and joy